Hey guys, I'm late. I've finished testing the Lenovo Y700 Gen 5 for you all. Compared to the Y700 Gen 4, it mainly upgraded the chip and added some battery. The paper specs aren't very striking, so I'll focus on answering your main questions, then detail its comparison with its predecessor and the Red Magic iPad Pro. First, about the screen jumping issue. I've repeatedly tested some online cases of screen jumping, whether it's Apex Legends or Peace Elite. At least for my tablet, my answer is it doesn't jump at all, so I strongly suspect it's an individual quality control problem with the Y700 series. The solution is very simple. Putting aside any settings issues, everyone can thoroughly test it for a day based on their own usage habits. If you find screen jumping, immediately exchange it, until you've found a perfectly normal tablet. So how is its touch performance really? Let's use a high-speed camera in slow motion to compare its sliding with the previous model. You can clearly see the responsiveness is much better this time, and in my actual experience these past few days, I've definitely felt this too. It's the same in Peace Elite. If you look closely, the Y700 Gen 5 is also a bit faster, but the difference is very small, about 1%. The startup speed is basically the same, but when your finger leaves the screen, the Y700 Gen 4's stability is completely inferior to the Gen 5. Notice, each time it stops it tugs, making aiming and turning in games quite awkward. Next, comparing with the Red Magic tablet, touch response and all settings are still maxed out. Top is the Y700 Gen 5, bottom the Red Magic tablet. We tested PUBG Mobile and Apex Legends. Look closely, the Y700 Gen 5 is still faster when quickly sliding left and right. No worries, you can watch it repeatedly. Compared to the Y700 5th Gen, the startup speed is still a bit faster, but the sense of lag is pretty similar for both. If your touch control demands aren't too high, most people won't notice it during normal gameplay. Comparing with the iPad Pro 2024, both have very similar sliding performance, stopping feel, and stopping speed. Looking at the launch speed and stopping feel again, they are also very similar, so the Y700's touch optimization is still very good. I'll draw a conclusion. If you've used an iPad Pro before guys, picking a Y700 tablet with good quality control will be very easy to get used to. The quick left-right sliding in Peace Elite is still very similar to the iPad Pro, but there's still a slight dragging sensation when stopping. Also, because of the Y700 Gen 5's LCD screen, fast scrolling will show noticeable ghosting. Third, let's compare the image quality performance. Regarding the visual experience, the Y700 Gen 4 and 5 LCD screens lack brightness and have thick black bezels, making the overall look quite poor. As for screen-to-body ratio, Android devices already offer 2K, so it's not far off from the iPad Pro. The Y700 Gen 4 and 5 have no difference in image quality, but I slightly feel the Gen 4's brightness is a bit higher. Videos might not capture the full effect, but the Red Magic's visuals and colors are my favorite. So if picture quality matters, I'd lean towards Red Magic. Next, let's look at the game test. The Y700 5th Gen can enable 2K at 165 frames. In the Heritage Zone, with around 20 steel guns, it can stably maintain 2K at 165 frames. Looking at the golden period of the first 10 minutes, the average frame rate of 164.5 is a very stable straight line, but the power consumption is also really high, reaching 11 watts. If it were a mobile phone, this kind of power consumption would be completely unacceptable. Looking at the scheduling strategy, the frequency is also quite aggressive. This generation is relatively flexible, finally not just blindly maxed out, sometimes it runs at around 4.3 GHz. If you care about this tablet's performance and tuning, you can rest assured. It feels like a pure gaming tablet. Other aspects might be lacking, but gaming is absolutely flawless. After playing for an hour, the battery dropped by 29%. Compared to the previous generation, battery life improved, but not by much. Ambient temperature was around 21 degrees, tablet temperature around 42 degrees. This generation's heat dissipation is noticeably better. I really want to complain about Project Triangle Strategy. It's been out for so long, and it can only run at 120 frames per second in HD. At 120 FPS, you barely need to test it. It's stable without effort. I'll retest it for everyone once it supports 165 frames. To summarize, while the on-paper specs haven't improved much, there are still optimizations in the details. However, the overall difference from the 4th generation is still very small. If you're using a perfectly normal 4th gen device, I don't think there's any need to upgrade. If your budget's ample, those on 3rd gen can consider.